Hi everyone, wishing you a warm welcome from here in Barcelona. I'm standing in front of the Ericsson booth here in Hall 2 at MWC. We've actually built a mini city here in the open area, showcasing all of the real-world examples that our technology is enabling. In fact, we've also built an incredible area which will celebrate our 150th anniversary. Come on and let's go take a look. Okay, so I'm joined here by our new head of marketing and communications for Ericsson Networks. Welcome, Sofie Löwenhielm.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. And I got to say, before we jump into our discussion, thank you so much for doing this tour. I feel it's super important that people can also
100%.
connect to what we do here remotely. So thanks.
You're welcome. So we're standing here in this incredible space that's celebrating Ericsson's 150th anniversary. And of course, you being new, I would love to hear some of your reflections of learning a little bit about Ericsson's history.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, being a Swede and having worked in tech my whole career, I mean, Ericsson has always been on my radar, right? Mm-hmm. But it's so impressive that, you know, a company that started with simple technology back in 1876 has been on this journey, right? From telephones to having networks that literally connects billions of people around the globe. And I think one thing that stays with me in this is that innovation has always been at the heart of what Ericsson does, right? And
100%.
You've seen this over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think engineering is at the heart of what we do, and it really is part of Ericsson's DNA, and of course, we'll see that a little bit later. So how are we seeing that innovation legacy continuing here today?
Yeah, I mean, since I joined and really got to go behind the scenes, right? I've learned how we're building the networks for tomorrow.
Right.
And, you know, with AI-driven automation, 5G advanced performance, mission-critical connectivity, and last but certainly not least, the groundbreaking development we have on 6G, right? That will define what comes next.
So, Sofie, any final thoughts before we head off and take a look at the show floor?
Yeah, maybe to close out, I think the same spirit that defined how we communicate today is what will drive how we think, learn, and interact in the future.
Are you sure you're new here? That was fantastic. Thank you so much for those observations and for joining us here. Now we're going to go see these technologies in action. Thank you again. Okay, and so now we're here in the demo zone at Ericsson's Mobile World Congress booth, and I'm joined by Johan Hultell. He is the head of RAN software for Ericsson Networks. And honestly, what are you thinking here? It's looking really great. The demos are going to be fantastic. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see here this week.
Yeah. No, I think we will expect a fantastic show. I think center of the show will be AI. We bring it in two perspectives. The first one is AI for networks, and that is really how we use AI in energy efficiency, spectrum efficiency, automation to make networks better. The second perspective is how do we build networks that are better suited for AI. And there I think the radios play a central part.
Mm-hmm. So from the use cases to our software to our hardware portfolio, I think this is just showing how Ericsson is the leader in all things networks. And one of the things that we should talk about next is how we're helping other industries connect and bring connectivity to life. Shall we go and take a look at the mission critical area?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. So when it comes to mission critical and mission critical communications, what are some of the key highlights that we can expect visitors here in Barcelona to take away from the Ericsson booth?
So here I really think it's all about building a secure, resilient and ultra-reliable network. And that is sort of, we are showing this in a set of different demos. One being how we build ubiquitous mission critical services. One showing how we can build mission critical services for example, defense, but also how we are working with our partners to build the ecosystem.
Excellent, and I think the ecosystem, it's such a buzzword here in Barcelona, but it is really important, and not only from bringing mission critical services and applications to the market, but also in our quest for new technology. And we'll see, I think, a huge ecosystem play when it comes to 6G. And I think that's probably where we'll end this lovely tour. Should we go and take a look at the 6G area?
Yes.
All right, let's go. So we all know, of course, that 6G is on the horizon, and I think that's such a fun thing to say because, of course, the theme this year for the Ericsson booth is Enter New Horizons. So with 6G being definitely a hot topic this year, what can our customers, partners, guests to the booth expect when they come into the 6G area on the show floor?
So I think they will expect and see a glimpse of the future. I think I boil it down to three things.
Okay.
The first thing is really about building an AI native architecture from start. So I think we end up where we started.
Yep.
The second thing is about building and enabling new services. And I think integrated sensing and communication is a fantastic example. And then the third thing, it's really about the ecosystem again. So we are not doing this alone, we are doing this together with our partners to enable that we get the success.
Sounds like 6G is something we should get ready for. Thank you so much, Johan, for joining us, and I hope you have a great show. And finally, to close out this wonderful tour of our Ericsson Networks portfolio here at Mobile World Congress, I'm here with our head of networks, Per Narvinger. Per, welcome.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're so excited to be here. Our friends on social media have now seen the booth and all the great things that we're doing at Ericsson Networks. And I wanted to kind of end it with some of your reflections. You know, what are you most excited for this week? What's on top of mind for you as we head into this wonderful show?
So, of course, it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of different customers. They all show up here, and there's always a lot of buzz around Barcelona. So a lot of news coming out, of course, from us, but also from competitors. And what I really love when you bring people in here is that we make it real.
Exactly.
And I think it's safe to assume that this year is going to be a lot of talk about AI.
Yep.
But in here, we're going to show AI in networks and networks for AI. And of course, what we will do is show it's not just about PowerPoints or PR, it's actually real. And you can see that behind me. I mean, just looking in the radio tower here. And of course, we're going to be talking about the announcement we made the other week. So in our latest Ericsson Silicon, we now have included neural network accelerators, making our massive MIMO radios even more clever. And that shows we're really putting AI to use. So really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show. Barcelona yet again. And to all of you who are watching, cheering us on from the sidelines, thank you so much, and have a great day.